Welcome back, everybody, to the Service to the Sacred. I'm so grateful and excited to be here with one of my dearest friends, Meredith Rom. Meredith Rom is releasing her book, Just Be, which I've had the honor to read. And so we're going to be talking to Meredith a little bit today about the book, about the release, her process, being a blooming femme leader. Meredith is a writer, a yoga instructor, a women's coach, and she's led international retreats. And she's really has been my biggest teacher and support with all of my creative offerings. So deep bow to you, Meredith, for all that you do, all that you've done in my life, and how much you share so freely. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Karen, for putting together this summit and sharing women's voices and honoring your inner calling. It's beautiful.
Thank you. So this is a really exciting interview because we're doing it in person.
Yeah.
And that feels really special because our dynamic is so special. So we might, spill into giggles every once in a while.
Girl time.
So we wish that everybody was actually sitting right here with us, so we feel you here. And stay till the end because we're going to close with a song for you. So
have our instruments already.
So Meredith, why don't you start a little bit and tell us how it is to have completed this process of writing the book.
Mm-hmm.
I know the story is so big and beautiful and long, about the beginning to the end. So I'd like to hear just a little bit how it is to land with the copy and how you feel.
Oh, it's a huge completion. I feel like in the last few months, it's just been allowing this book to become its own being and to go out into the world in the way it wants to, and releasing my attachments to it. And it feels a lot less scary now that it's actually at the point of being shared and about to reach people's eyes. And it also helped to have a few people read it in the last month or two who offered some really beautiful feedback. And just knowing that now, my sister and my mom have read it, and a few women that I admire have read it. And there's something that has been touched in them, and I feel really grateful to have been the conduit for what wanted to be shared and to actually take it all the way through, because it's not easy. And I know so many people get to the point of having an idea, wanting to get it out, but there's a lot that can come up in the way. So I feel really blessed that I made it this far and it's here. It's about to be sent out to lots of people. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment to see a vision like that into completion. And I imagine that you had so much support along the way, but had to really go through a lot on the inside to make it here. Yeah,
you were there.
I was there. I'm talking as if I don't know, but it's for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
The deep process of birthing, right? Of birthing something like this. So maybe you can share with people who are watching maybe one instance or lesson that kind of came up for you in this process.
Sure. Mm-hmm. The big one was after doing this big Kickstarter campaign, being very public. And that was beautiful and exciting to see the support that came in from my community. But I actually had this session with my friend Alex, who does divination. And he said, there may be some challenges that come up in your publishing process, and everything will be fine if you release attachments to the outcome. But I had no idea what was going to happen, but something inside me was no, nothing can go wrong. Everyone has to go according to my plan. And there was a little constriction. Lo and behold, a few days later, the publisher reached out to me very sweetly, we're considering changing the title of your book. We'd love to consider other titles. And that just felt like, it felt really hard at that moment because I had developed some attachment to what the book I thought was going to be. And I needed to really look at some of those attachments and release them and be open to what would be of highest service to the people that needed the teachings in the book. And a few things happened that made it clear to me that yes, it was right to change the title. And I did have final word about that. One of those moments actually being on a podcast interview with Achintya Devi. And one of the titles the publisher had suggested was Just Be. And it's a theme throughout the book, and I hadn't quite seen it because I was so in it. And there was this moment, I had really said to the universe, okay, universe, if I am meant to change the title, give me a sign. And I was on this interview with Achintya, and everything was going wrong. It was like the technology was not working. Like my computer charger was like disappearing, and my computer was about to die. And we're having a lot of issues, like finally getting the place to record the interview. And what came up for me in that moment was just be, just be, just be. And I hadn't even realized that like that was the title they had suggested, and it just like kind of dawned on me all at once, like, oh, that's a really powerful teaching, to just be when things are not going your way, when it's challenging. You know, it's all fun and easy to be or to love yourself when you feel beautiful or when things are going your way or you're excited, you know, but to be with yourself in those moments when it's challenging, maybe you feel embarrassed, or maybe it's like things aren't working, technology blocks come up, whatever that is, to be with that, to breathe with that, to move through that. And ultimately, as soon as I released my attachments and came to that place, like Achintya came on, recorded an amazing interview, everything worked out. But that was a huge lesson for me. And I went to our 10-day Vipassana retreat last Christmas. And again, it was like the teaching kept coming back. My mind would wander to the future, to the past, to my fears, to my doubts, all these places. And then I would come back to my breath and realize where my mind had been all that time. And I come back to the awareness, just be. And it's a very simple but very powerful teaching. So I feel so grateful, and it just keeps unfolding. I feel like now I'm really learning how to be in the feminine flow. I'm realizing that a lot of how getting to where I am now has been quite masculine, even though I've done so much work, even though I've done so much of my own inner healing. I'm really realizing what it means to be in the feminine, what it means to be, to make a statement in the world through your being.
Yeah. Wow. You know, I feel so excited about the title of the book because so those of you who weren't a part of the Kickstarter, originally it was Synchronicity, but now it's Just Be. And you're so right that simple but powerful teaching like is really so much deeper than the idea of synchronicity. Like that's something that's special and it's magical and it reminds us of the magic, but like just being is about like anchoring into the body. And that's where all of this unfolds, is like being in the body. And that's how the book starts, right? Is you just learning how to stay, like just stay in the body, like through yoga. So thank you for opening up to that, that opportunity to change the title and for it to be a deeper message than you had ever even planned.
Yes. And I think also just going through that journey with my Kickstarter supporters was so beautiful because some of them had some attachments, and it was like really inviting people to let go of attachments and to trust in what is to come. And I think a lot of them walked away with, wow, like this person is really trusting and opening herself to what is being asked of her.
Mhm.
And that kind of was a reflection for, I think, other people in their life.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think that that teaching of not being in the past and not being in the future, but just being in the moment, is really helping us move forward and kind of surrender to, I guess I could say death, but I'm talking about that in the way of like the death of the old paradigm, and the death of the things that no longer serve us anymore. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about that, about how you feel like using your voice in this writing process, your creative process is, like that offering of the world of like this, like the truth and the future and what we're moving into, like as women. Maybe you can say a little bit
Mm,
about that if you feel connected to that.
mm, like what's happening in the collective right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it. I see women awakening and all the time kind of feeling like there's something missing or there could be so much more. What is that? I recently had a call with a woman and I asked her, why did you feel drawn to reach out to me? What was that? And she said, there's some kind of spark that I see that I'm missing. There's something that I don't know what it is. And I just lit up when she said that because I hadn't even realized that my being
Mm-hmm.
had affected her so much. And I realized like a lot of my own practices are that energy between me and other people. So I think like a place for people to start when they have that awakening, like there's something more for me. What is that? Um, to listen to your body, start asking those questions, to really honor and take care of yourself. The practice has been so transformational for me, like putting oil on my body, saying loving words to my body. That is that one act, I think, is really shifting a lot because it it shows in how I hold myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it people are affected by that, and it's it's something that they can do that's really easy and simple to really like start to shift the collective of being in this maybe more masculine or maybe even just talking badly to themselves or being critical of themselves or hard on themselves. If every woman started to just hold themselves with that love, to treat themselves with that love, there would be a huge shift because it's the women who are like birthing and creating these families and setting an example for the people around them and their children.
Mm-hmm.
When we love and honor ourselves, there's so much more to give. And yeah, it's going to create great change. It already is.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot is happening in the world now. And often women feel alone when they start waking up. You could probably think back to when you started feeling like there's something more. And for me too, it was like there's something more. And I didn't have community around me to show how to move, how to be in the world in this new way. So I had to go into my body wisdom to at least, listen to the signs that were there that led me to California, that led me to India, that led me to the right people I needed to meet. So if people are listening to this today, there's probably some reason that they somehow they got to this point where they are listening to these words. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I I think it is so common for women who maybe look up to someone like you know, to think, wow, she's got this thing that I don't. And there's like this feeling of lack there, like this feeling of loss. But, in your book, you really talk so much about like where you were years ago, and like it's like unbelievable for me to see you as this woman, like just so different from now, like a lot more focus on the material, a lot more focus on like, yeah, just kind of fitting into the box, like with the
Yeah.
jobs you like were trying to get, and like the pressure you felt. And so for those people listening, I just want to say, like, Meredith is a beautiful rose. She's the beautiful rose that she is today, realized that beauty, and it's being shared because of just being and because of listening. And so it's not that someone you admire like Meredith doesn't, has something you don't. It's like the work that you put in.
Yeah, the time, the attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to share a little just about where I was, and
Yeah.
anyone that relates to that. Yeah, just thinking back to, so I lived in New York City and was going to school there, but was spending lots and lots of times on computer, drinking coffee, eating sugar, like lots of things that were kind of addictive to, because I felt like there was something empty that I needed to fill.
Yeah.
And often I would feel a lot of pain in my body. I'd have these terrible headaches and chronic pain in my muscles. And it was really my body calling to pay attention. But I didn't know how to do that at first. So I would distract myself. I would go to the ice cream, or, having drinks on Friday night, whatever that was, and just kind of numb myself from it. And even I was going to doctors and asking for help, and their solution was prescription pills. Try the muscle relaxants, try the antidepressants even. And that's what they know to offer. But it really took me listening to my body. Discovering yoga was huge. I remember my first yoga class of being in pigeon pose and the teacher inviting us to breathe and see what emotions were there. And I had just gone through a breakup, and on top of that, like, it was having these health challenges and my skin was breaking out. It was like everything just was making me want to hide. And in that space, I could be with myself, even though all those things were going on, even though there was pain in my body, even though I felt insecure about how I looked, even though I was going through some emotional pain and grief, losing a friend, losing a lover. And in that, I started to open and discover that through the being with the difficulty, that was the pathway for it to begin to dissolve. And it was a long journey, but that was the catalyst. Yoga, meditation, really simple. And in that space, my little voice of my intuition started speaking. And there would become in this like little voice or a little vision of there's something greater for you. And that was when I thought about, California. Wow, that would be amazing to live there. Just these little seeds, visions, dreams that we have planted in us, going to India. It's like, oh, that's a little seed I'd like to explore. And it also helped me to start to find the community, to surround myself with people who are like-minded, and to find people who are encouraging, and who saw that I had these dreams and were like, yeah, you can do them. You can do that. That's been huge for me. Having other women reflect what is possible for my life, and then starting to believe that. And I do that with other women now. I love doing that, to see something in someone and say, yes, you can.
Yeah. You're good at that. Oh, that's so sweet. The something I wanted to touch on about that is, like, part of this summit is, let me introduce you to these women who are in touch, with their inner voice and their higher voice. And also let me say that you are one of them, so I'm so happy to hear that you chose to surround yourself with people who were going to reflect, the possibilities and what they saw in you. And you're so skilled at that, so skilled at taking people right up to the edge until you can't hold their hand anymore, and then they have to fly, and they don't have a choice. So I want to just say a personal thank you, and thinking about all the women that you've helped. But I know it hasn't always been easy for you with your voice either. So tell me a little bit about your creative process, and how this is to share your voice and your story in such a big way.
Well, of course, it's cyclical. You go ups and downs and around, and there have been times when I felt really great about it, and there are times when I go in a really dark place. And even after coming into higher places of feeling like, okay, I figured this out, I'm now at the place where I can share my voice, sometimes things still come up. And that's okay. And we can love those parts of ourselves and hold them, and trust that there will be times of great expansion, and there will be times where you want to feel more closed and contraction and private. I feel like personally something has been shifting for me, and I am not quite sure what to make of it, but I feel more trusting now. And it could be that it just took time and becoming more familiar. And sometimes just having a positive feedback loop, like when you have a good experience, that can really help you get to the next space. But those voices, the critical voices, they don't necessarily go away. Sometimes they still come back, but holding yourself with them. The mantra I use now, I shared this with Julian. The mantra I use now is, I am a queen. I trust in my voice. And that came to me through a session with a mentor I was working with. And the queen is someone who stands in her power, and she also is of service to her people. Like, she is able to hold great amounts of energy as she rises more and more in her sovereignty, but she is doing it all in service of something greater. And it really helps to stay connected to what is that something greater, right? What is it that you want to offer? What is it? Who is it that you want to help? And to be in that trust. And I've had to go through some moments where I felt like I was going to die, getting up before doing something really intense and sharing. But a lot of those moments have been super healing and nourishing. I'm thinking back to I had this big event for the end of my Kickstarter campaign. And that whole week I felt like I was going to throw up. But at the end of it, I was like, that was a rite of passage. That was the most nourishing thing I could have done for myself, is to have called all these people together and witness me stepping into my power. Very vulnerable, but so powerful. Yeah.
Something you told me, Meredith, like when I first met you years ago, that has really changed my life, and I actually just said it to a client today on the phone because it doesn't get old. Is the impact that you can have will always be greater than your fear. Always. And so even if the fear comes up and it's painful, like, it rises and passes, and the impact you have on others, like, right, is that greater piece, that service to the sacred. And I think what I'm hearing you say, what I'm getting from it, is the more you initiate yourself, right, into these processes of showing yourself and that vulnerability, sharing those gifts, the easier it's going to get. It's maybe not always going to feel like we're going to throw up or we're going to die.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
It's gotten easier. Totally. I'm in a place now where I've released a lot of those attachments. It feels more easeful. It feels joyful to lead a kirtan or a yoga class, or these things that at one time really did feel really so intense. Now it's, I think we need to constantly be growing, though. So we find new edges where we're challenged. And we can also find balance and sink into the sweet joy of things that are comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We need that too.
Yeah. We need both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's like the rose and the thorns. Like it's not all the rose and it's not all the thorns, you know, like we find the balance.
Yeah. That's the masculine and the feminine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trusting, weaving in when it's time to be courageous,
Mm-hmm.
and when it's time to be more private and internal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what would you say to women who do you think your book is for? What kind of woman out there?
Well, I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll tell you what some people have been telling me too, because it's interesting to hear from other perspectives. I really wrote this book for the woman who is coming of age, maybe fresh out of college, really wondering what to do with their life, thinking like is there something, because that's what I speak of in the story of graduating from college, feeling like, okay, I was supposed to do this and check this off the list and get this job. And suddenly like that wasn't happening. And all these unexpected things were coming up, and I found yoga, and that took me in a totally different direction than where I thought I would go. But I did write with that in mind, of thinking about women that were going through this struggle of like, what am I to do with my life? Where do I want to go next? How do I want to serve? How do I want to live? How can I have joy? And since having people read the book, I'm actually receiving feedback that this is for women of all ages. My aunt read the book and was like, wow, this took me right back to that time in my life. And it asked some questions that I really needed to be asking myself. And that was great feedback, to feel like, okay, you know, I may have written it for one person, thinking of who I was and where I was at that time, but it has an effect on even a greater range of women who could be going through this kind of transition at any time in their life.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, you know, for women, since we are cyclical, we're always going to be coming up these places of the unknown and feeling like there's more to expand into. And so that makes a lot of sense to me, that this book really is for any woman, and maybe even a man that loves a woman, you know, or for the feminine inside a man. It really could be for anybody, because we're certainly all searching for self-love, and we're certainly all learning how to just be. Right?
Yes, I hope so.
I would hope so too. Yeah, maybe not everybody.
We can hope.
Yeah, and then of course, like in your presence, like you're showing them what's possible. You know, I really get that from you so much. If you don't know Meredith in person, all you have to do is watch her for a couple minutes, and you'll learn so much about self-love and self-care, and that queen presence, like you're saying. You didn't mention it, but it really impacted me when you said recently, you know, you had a moment of doubt and you went out into the field and you anchored yourself. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
I'm not sure exactly what moment was. It was this recently.
Yeah. Where you said, I'll never again doubt my voice.
Well, that was actually a really empowering moment, because I had just done something that scared me. And I went out into the field, just a few days ago. And just a statement of claiming something for myself, and to be witnessed by the universe and the air and the fields and the elements. And I wrote in my journal, but before that, I just really simply said, like, I claimed it. I was like, I am a queen. I trust in my voice. I will never again doubt myself so deeply like I had in the past. Like, that is done now. And that was really powerful to just claim that for yourself. We can do that for ourselves anytime. Go out into nature and set a sacred space. I do that a lot too for when I need help. I go out and I set the space, and I ask my guides to be with me. And I say, I need help. and this is what's going on. Please help me. This is bigger than me. I don't know what to do. That surrender. I offer this up to a greater force. I trust that a miracle is already on its way, that is coming to me. And then, there might still be some inkling of like, oh, what if? But it does help a lot to just kind of set that space, be witnessed, and let it go.
Thank you for that. I love it to use something like that either when we need help or when we're ready to like claim the truth of who we are and what's ended. I like what you said, like that's not going to happen again. I trust my voice and I really just so happy for you and so proud of you and excited for you. I would hope that by the time you published a book that you were ready to say, I'll never doubt my voice again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And it took a lot to get here, but it was all part of it. It was all necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we close with a song, is there anything that you want to say to the women who've been watching and listening about that journey between creativity and service, to becoming like blooming femme leader that we all are?
Yes. Well, you can do it. Come back to your intentions. Anytime that you feel those places of fear coming back to the surface, remind yourself why this is important to you. And those can be really innocent and take the pressure off. If there's anything you can do, take the pressure off. Our minds like to make it seem like there's a lot more we need to do and a lot more that we need to be before we can just go out and share our gifts and start helping people. And the truth is we can do that right now. So trust in that, in yourself, and know that if there's an inner calling in you, it's possible to have it happen. Just, listen to the seeds, follow the golden thread, and it'll become more clear each day what next step to take.
I love that. Thank you so much. It really, you shared so much, that just is things that we need to keep hearing over and over again. And so I really hope that you never stop sharing your voice and your stories and your insights. And, I'm just so thankful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And everyone, we're going to close with a song, but Meredith's book is coming out August 22nd, right?
Yeah, it's not white, where it's not whited out. There we go.
Yeah.
And if people are interested in buying it, they can go to Amazon. It's all up on Amazon and I'm sure you'll include some links.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are ways that we can support you in your book launch?
Well, depending when this interview goes out, they can either pre-order it or order it when it's live. August 22nd is the official launch date of the book. And even just really simple, like word of mouth, if anything resonated, they could share this interview, they could, share with a friend about the book. If they feel called to share something on social media, that's wonderful. But just keep trusting in their own dreams too, and taking those steps. And anytime if someone wants to connect with me, they can just go to my website, meredithrom.com. Send me a message. Be happy to talk to any of you out there. Give me a little encouragement.
So all the links will be right here for you. And yeah, do pick up the book because it's so special. I highlighted like half of it myself because there's so much wisdom in here from so many teachers, and then you just get to hear Meredith's own thought process about how she moves through all the magic. So yeah, everyone, please do check it out. Yeah. So thanks for all your sharing, Meredith.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me, reminding me all the time, that I can also do what my heart's wanting to give.
Yeah.
So, what song should we sing?
Well, I think we should sing the song in honor of Hanuman, who is actually the one who is in such devotion and service to Sita and Ram. And we can really honor how beautiful that is when we come into that kind of devotion.
That sounds great.
Great.
Battery. Oh, we've got a battery issue. Hanging in there. So sing along with us if you're at home. Keep it short. blessings. Thank you for joining us. Check out the other videos we have, service to the sacred, and may you find service to your own sacred and sacred in others.